red, and then it's on the top. Alright, so we didn't use this a lot in the first unit because we didn't have a test, so I didn't collect it, but this one we are going to collect. It's going to be worth 8 points, which is the equivalent of 2 assignments. So it's not that big of a deal, but I want you to make sure that we are actually using it, okay? Remember, here's what's supposed to go on. We do an activity. Find which understanding that activity goes under, and you update it. Yep. Well, yes, but we're going to do a new one for each unit. Yep. Okay, and they'll usually be different colors in this track. Okay, so we've done some vocab words on the back. What I want you to do is be looking at the front. We've done, all 3 of these have gone under the first understanding, okay? So we've done, and I updated this over here. So gravity and stars was our first one. So under U1, you should write gravity and stars. And then there should be something after that where you either describe, this is what we learned, or this is the summary of that activity. And as a reminder, that was the thing where we had three, like they weren't really stations, but we did the clock thing, we did the simulation, and then we watched that video. So what did you learn from that? What was the point of that, right? Do we want to do this as a class? This first as a class. So what would you say the point, or what did we do in that first activity? What would you write down on yours? Too specific. Okay. Be general. What was the point of doing that? So that was a perfect description of the first one. We wanted to look at generally how gravity works and how that influences stars. Okay. So in that we did, you're exactly right, we looked at the details of the clock activity, but that's probably what I would put for the first one. Looked at the big ideas of how gravity works and how they're related to star formation, right? Because then we talked about, by the end of that, we knew how to create a star, sort of.
Oh.
No, all 3 of them. And then we should have a blurb for the second one. So the sun to scale. You guys probably don't need me from this. Summarize what we did with that. We looked at the different layers of the sun, and then we found out how energy moves.
Learn about the core radius.
Yeah. Learned about the layers, learned how energy moves through the sun. That's pretty much what we did. We did that with the wedge, we did that with our research, and we also did that a little bit in our conversation from yesterday. Every time you walk, Carlos, I feel like I'm watching the snail filter on Snapchat. Whoa, slow it down. Slow it, there you go. There you go. Don't you trip. And then the nuclear fusion one, you can write the name of that under the 3rd box, but you won't have a blurb yet because that's what we're going to do today and tomorrow. Okay? I didn't have coffee this morning, so I need some. It's usually 6 hours that I need this last days. I've gone physical. I'm just used for water. I would not wake up.
Now let's you do ice cubes out. To wake you up.
That's my thought. All right, so table contents we're done with. Okay. This will be one that, like, the day of the test, usually what I did was I give you a review. We staple a table of contents to review. When you hand that to me, I give you the test. Okay. So we're going to look a little bit. I'm going to give you guys some options to investigate a couple of things that have to do with nuclear fusion, but we've got an idea. Somebody tell me what nuclear fusion is. Colton.
2 atoms together.
2 atoms together, right? A lot of heat, a lot of pressure. We get a new element, and in addition to a new element, what do we get a lot of? We get a lot of energy, okay? This is easy in the sun because it's so big and it's so hot. It's a little bit harder that it's on Earth, okay? We do have the option, like we can fuse things on Earth. We just can't do it on a big scale and get that energy out, okay? And here's what I want you to know. And this is what I had a really hard time with in science and in any class. Because I always said, and I still say it, like, how am I ever gonna use this? Like, when am I ever gonna use this math thing? Tell me an example when I'm using this calculus in real life, right? And the teacher's like, oh, okay, that's annoying. Don't try and say that your subject is the most important thing in the world, okay? But here's what I want you to know. I want you to see, not necessarily you, Victoria, or not necessarily Edward, or not necessarily Joe is going to use this, but how do we actually use this? So when I say we, I don't mean like I'm not using nuclear fusion every day, but it does somehow fit into stuff that's going on right now. Does anybody have any idea how nuclear fusion could potentially affect us? Edward?
Kill us all.
And who's going to use it against us? There's somebody specific right now. North Korea. North Korea says that they've been testing what?
Nuclear pistol.
They've been testing hydrogen bombs. Hydrogen bombs use nuclear fusion. And if that hits Chicago, somebody was like, oh, it's going to hit Chicago, it's not going to hit us, it's fine.
That's like 4 miles.
And the radiation from that is still, it would be very bad. Okay, so we don't want that to happen. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you variants, so listen very closely over the next 4 minutes. Even if you're applying any sort of flip class.
That makes it.
Now I'm going to stop stuck in my head.
My lip gloss is that one.
Yeah. Okay, you're going to choose one of these 2 questions. Okay, this is listed on there. We've never done a discussion on Canvas in this class before. Have you guys done it in other classes?
No.
Okay, some classes have, some classes haven't. All right, and I'm going to take you through how to do this. This is super, super, super simple. Okay, so it's going to be on this. Don't do it just yet, but it's going to be on the left-hand side, right underneath, and you'll see it's called like nuclear fusion discussion or something like that. You can choose. You're either going to look at why it's really hard for us to harness energy from nuclear fusion on Earth, or you're going to look at ways where it's actually being applied. Okay, and I can tell you right off the bat, if you type this question in onto Google, you'll have a hard time. So you're probably going to have to rephrase it a little bit, okay? If you type this exact question in, you're going to have a hard time, okay? You're going to have to rephrase it, all right? You might need to change, like if you change slightly the question, even if it's asking the same thing, that was a bit of a just do this and watch it go like 2 feet. Okay, so I can say, or I can find one of these. So I might say, how does an H bomb use nuclear fusion? How does an H bomb? Like I might just change. That's the same question, but it's using some of this stuff. So if you're like, oh, I can't find anything, just rephrase it because there are so many things. And I've taken a look at a lot of people's links already, and they're really, really good stuff. Okay, it does not need to be this how an atomic bomb works. Okay, there's one that there was a 2-minute video and then a couple of paragraphs about if a hydrogen bomb actually does hit the United States. Let's look at the blast radius and see what would happen. But that's them learning about like a real life thing, and they were like, this doesn't really answer the question, but it's super interesting and it's kind of related to it. That's fine. Okay, so you're gonna pick one of these. You're gonna find. Here's the next thing. You're going to find a resource. You can choose if that's a YouTube video. If it is, it needs to be about 3 minutes or longer, not like 30 seconds. Or it can be some sort of article from a reputable source. That means it's not like ask.com or something. You know what I mean? Okay. So you're going to read it. You're going to watch it. You're going to learn something. Okay, just skim, if it's really long and you don't want to read it all, skim over it. Or if it's super confusing, find another one. I want it to be something that makes sense to you. And then you're gonna post about what that is. I just want a summary of it. So if I say like, hey, Thompson, what was yours about? She could say, oh, well, it was about how particle accelerators work, some of the pros and how it integrates nuclear fusion. I don't need details from, I don't need like facts of her article. I just want like, if I could see what it's almost like a little preview of it. So I don't need details, I just need a general 2 or 3 sentence overview of this is what's in it. See the difference between those two things, okay? So I need your link so that I can click on it, other people can click on it. I need a 2 or 3 sentence summary, and I need you to either say, this is a question that I have about this, or this is something that I found out that was interesting, okay? So 3 little things there, and you post that, okay? That's half the assignment. The second one is after you have posted, I might go say, hey, I looked at Sophia's and Clifton's and Allie's little summaries, and I think that Allie's is the most interesting. I'm going to click on hers, reply to her post with something that I might have learned from her article. That's it. Okay? That it should be, the replying part should be the easiest 3 points that you ever get, because you're just clicking on somebody's, skimming it, and doing that kind of stuff, right? The problem that a lot of people are having is that when they go to discussions, they're posting a new discussion. When you go to it, this is what you should do. At the bottom, and it does not save it. So if you're not going to post before the end of class, you need to save it. So I go to discussions. You see all these right here? These people posted it incorrectly. You should go, click on the one that we're doing as a class, go down to the bottom and click reply, and that is where you're going to type. That means that everybody just in our class will be able to go through and see it, I think. It is. Okay? I probably screwed it up, all right? So that's the way to do it. If you post somewhere else, somebody might not be able to see your post because it's not in ours, right? The goal by the end of the day is to have you found your resource and at least tried to started that post. If you post it by the end of the day, that's awesome. I'm going to give us about 15 minutes to do this tomorrow as well. So we'll have plenty of time. We get out at what, 2:12? So we've got 20-something minutes to get this done. If you can get your resource, hey, the classes, like second hour, it was eerily silent. And almost everybody posted and replied, like they're done, okay? We know where we want that percentage to be by midterms. And I can see, are you actually working really hard to get this done? And I want you to try and find something that's interesting to you. So get that done, focus, all right? That's what it's gonna take to get to where we want. Are there any questions before we get going? Okay. The questions that you can choose from are at the bottom. The specific steps are up here, all right? And I'll come around and help you answer some stuff. Let me do attendance rate.
Positive if I'm not watching the
If it's quiet.